Black people have heroes like Kolisi. I'm touching the nerve now. Touching the nerve. You can't be a black person and have a hero like Kolisi. I've said that. You can't be a black person and have a hero like Kolisi who does not represent anything that has to do with black person. Because Kolisi represent everything that has to do with our black oppression.
Why is Kolisi catching strays, man?
We're coming to him, Musa.
When's Asenza proud, Ganj?
Proud of what?
Umkhonto wesizwe Youth League President Bonginkosi Khanyile kunjani bhuti?
Yaphila.
Ngiyabonga. Good to see you.
Yes.
Cela ukunibingelela. I'd like to say hello to everyone all over the world. We are on the brink of elections in South Africa on the 29th of May. We are all heading to the polls. There's political parties campaigning. It's really busy, the whole country. And one of the political parties that is bathini nisematheni khulunywa ngani ngapha nangapha naseindabeni. And then I decided to just sit today with the Youth League President uBab Khanyile. For abangakwazi mhlambe Bab Khanyile ungayibika ubani wakuphi?
Yimini unxaka ubhande lomshini isikhafula gazi into engalali madubule gijima shunqu shemula. Sifika ngasigalelekile hustlers code.
No, I'm blessed, mfowethu. I'm blessed. It's an exciting time in the country.
Yeah, no, too much. Umuntu akabingelele nje la khona enhla nenzansi eningizimu. Siyanibingelela abafowethu uyona ingane kaNdiya le, ubaba uNdiya. Ngizalwa insizwe idabukala enkandla emaHlatha Mnyama. Ngikhona ke ngaphansi kwakho namhlanje kade yagcinana.
Ngiyajabula kakhulu ukuthi ungivakashela ngakugcina. I think ngang-interviewer ungizwe.
Ungizwe, yeah.
Yeah, wawuhambisana nongizwe. I think wamkhaphile. You're around eGauteng.
Yes.
Are you based at KZN noma are you based eGauteng?
Now
Bengicela ungisondelele ku mic kancane.
Now I'm a national property, Musa. Umkhonto wesizwe. So I'm based national. I'm a serious person.
Yeah.
Unlike when we met that time, I was a nobody. Now I'm someone.
Yeah.
So we are everywhere, but I'm more in KZN and Joburg because that's where the most work is on. But I move around province to provinces because we are campaigning for total victory of 2/3 majority.
Let's start with your background. You are still telling me go to Upuma Gupnenda. What's your background?
Okay, from Inkandla. My father was born and raised in Inkandla, and my mother from Durban. So my background is KwaZulu Natal. I was born in Durban, King Edward Hospital, grew up from Durban, then Inkandla, then Pietermaritzburg because of the circumstances. When we grew up, there were wars between the Inkatha and ANC. So we used to run to Imlazi. When the fights are that side, we run to Inkandla. When the fights are in Inkandla, then we run to Pietermaritzburg. But I'm from KZN. Yeah.
Education?
Studied at Bonginkosi University of Technology. Passed. Studied at Durban University of Technology. Passed. Studied at University of KwaZulu Natal. Then the last university was the WITS University.
Okay.
But WITS University.
But WITS, yeah. But busy WITS.
Yes, WITS is.
Yeah.
Studied law there.
And you're one of the people who was very active during the Fees Must Fall campaign.
Yes.
What are some of the pictures that come to your mind as kuluma Fees Must Fall?
Fees Must Fall was the struggle for free education. We said education must be free in terms of its content, that's one, and in terms of its monetary value. So when we say in terms of its content, we are saying what we are taught in class. It must be people's education for people's power. African problems, they deserve African solutions. We want an education that represented our being as Africans, our imaginations as Africans. That's the content part. Then we said it must also be free in terms of its monetary value. That when you go to school and you qualify, government must be able to fund your education. We even proposed something which was a free education tax that tax the rich and fund higher education. So then there was a clarion call, which was fees must fall, which was a national call from all universities, shut down campuses, and we made our claims to be heard in government. And many people were brutalized. Many went to jail. I'm part of that generation that was jailed for 6 months for fees must fall. Others, we lost them. Others, they suffered mental health. Others were expelled. But luckily, by 2017, Zuma declared free education, which we won that struggle. Unfortunately, Zuma was removed. Then Cyril came into power. Then he reversed the gains of our revolution. But many were brutalized. When you speak about free education and fees must fall, even myself, police, they physically tormented me. When I was arrested in Westville prison, I was physically tormented. But it was for a good cause.
Did you ever feel some sort of regret?
No.
When you're in the prison cell for those 6 months?
No. In fact, if we could turn back the hands of time, I will do exactly what I've done. Remember, when there are many children, there are many young people I've met who said, Khanyile, I'm what I am today because of that struggle. Now I'm a doctor. Now I'm a lawyer. Now I'm a qualified nurse. Now I'm a teacher because of what you guys were in the forefront fighting for. Higher education is very expensive, Buddhism. Iyabiza education. For me at WITS, ngonyaka, I would spend close to 250,000, 200,000
Sure.
a year, which means my 4-year degree of law at WITS could cost close to $1 million. Accommodation alone at WITS Junction, it's 110,000. Accommodation alone. Meals are close to 60,000, 80,000 meals. Then you have tuition fee. Then you have books. Then you have to pay for transportation from res to university. So a year you'll spend like almost 250,000. Now imagine a child from Nkandla that they survive on SASSA grant. So that is why we were very determined on our struggle for fees must fall, because we said when the Freedom Charter was adopted, it said the doors of learning must be opened for all. When Mandela began his campaign in 94, he said free education for all. We still have that post. I will send you after this meeting. The post of 1994 when Mandela was campaigning free education for all. Mandela, in his speech, he says, education can be used as a tool to liberate the poor. Now, when you make education expensive, who's going to have access to it? The children of politicians and the children of the rich. Who are the rich? Because in South Africa, the economy has color. Even poverty has color. People who are poverty-stricken in South Africa, they are black. And people who are extremely wealthy and rich, they are white. Now, if you say education can be used as a tool to liberate the poor, yet you make it expensive so that only the rich can have access to it, then it means the rich gets more richer and the poor gets more poor. So as part of redress, we said education must be free. We must not look at you, how much do you have in your bank balance, but it must be how much intellectually grounded are you for you to access higher education, so that we can reverse the previously imbalances of the past, which were created by apartheid era and colonialism through education. It must not be that a child of Minel can only be a graduate of law at WITS and be a graduate of medical school at WITS. Also the child of Skukune that comes from a Rondoville where there's no tar road. must be able to have access to WITS, to UCT, to UP, the previously white universities. We must not be subject of the University of Zululand, University of Venda. We want to go where there are resources, where education is cream de la cream. WITS, they always prided themselves as being Harvard of Africa. And through Fees Must Fall, we're able to put the poorest of the poor to go to WITS, who are academically qualifying through that revolution. So we were determined. So there was no issue of saying now, because of that struggle, I can regret. I don't regret till today. I don't regret. If were to repeat it, I will still be in the forefront and do even worse what I've done before.
President Jacob Zuma, the former president, before he left his position or presidency, he proclaimed it.
Yes.
And then you're saying on this current administration that we're in, they've reversed.
Yes. They've reversed it. Remember what President Zuma did? He said, okay, I'm granting free education. It must be free, because what his colleagues were arguing that there's no money in South Africa. But there was a company that he identified. He said this company of government can be able to fund this higher education for everyone. It can be. There is money in South Africa. We are one of the richest countries in the world. The only issue that we have in South Africa is how the resources are redistributed. We're not a poor nation. He made that proclamation, free education must be given. And he fired Blaine Zimande. Because Blaine Zimande was one of the people who even went on a national television and said, students are saying fees must fall. We are going to open our organization which says students must fall, mocking us. It's there on YouTube. Then Zuma removed Blaine Zimande. But the NEC of the ANC turned against Zuma. They removed Zuma after he made free education for everyone. In 2017, students will tell you they never paid. Literally, if you excelled in your matric and you were accepted in any university of your choice, you will go there in and be accepted and government funded through NSFAS. Zuma was removed. Cyril came into power. He brought back Nzimande. Nzimande reversed free education. That is why even till today, we're in a crisis of accommodation. We're in the crisis of students that sleep in lecture halls. We're in the crisis of students who are being defunded. Today, as we speak, because the gains that we fought for are being reversed.
If they're saying for us to have continued with it, we needed to have gotten money from somewhere. As we were saying earlier, Guti, former president did say there was a company that was willing to fund it. Was it a state company? Or where would the money come from?
The state company. The state's companies. You know, in South Africa there is money. Kuna na le mali le yani ibizwa ngana le impesheni.
UIF.
Impesheni yakho.
Okay.
Ibizwa ngana
PIC.
Yes. PIC. Those are trillions and trillions of rands that you can take and redirect to higher education. But even before that, we set ourselves on our proposal to government, because we're not just protesting on the street, but we even did an intellectual work. Tax the big corporate companies, tax them, tax the rich, and fund free education. And when we said free education, we never said free education only for a specific race. We said even the child of Minel must study for free. Everyone that qualifies, you study for free, because we believe that when I'm a doctor, I'm not a doctor of Khanyile. I'm not a doctor Yagasbu. I'm not a doctor Yagangob. I'm a doctor of the nation. We took that from O.R. Tambo that said, any nation that does not take care of its youth does not deserve its future. So you cannot make an education a commodity. Education must be made a public good. It must be like water. Where you know water is subsidized in South Africa. It's almost free. Even education must be made a public good. Go to Cuba. There was a song that we used to sing during our revolution. There, Cuba bafunda mahala, South Africa siyabhadala Jona mntanami ubujuna, Jona mntanami uzothola isibhamu sokushaya amabhunu. Cuba bafunda mahala as we speak. Yet Cuba is far poorer than South Africa. They only survive on sugarcane. Tina, we have all mineral resources yet to make us pay. Why in Cuba they study for free? Because they know that education is a public good. When you teach the second layer, young people, you educate them. It means your country is in good hands. Because once you can have the illiterate youth, the country will be doomed for failure. So why do you make people pay for education? Because it must be made a public good, a public consumption. You shouldn't. It doesn't make sense. Why would education be 250,000 a month, a year, almost $1 million? When you go to WITS, you know WITS how wealthy it is. It has trillions and trillions of rands on its reserved. WITS can actually run for the next 30 years without collecting any fees from anyone. They are rich, these universities. They make money out of students. So those are our what we put before a government, and it made sense to Zuma. There's money in South Africa. You don't think that we have scarcity of resources. PIC. Tax. Open a new tax. You fund this education. It's not even a big issue. Make me a minister of higher education. I'm telling you, within 48 hours, I'll declare free education. And the country won't collapse. It only needs a will, leadership that has a will. We have money. The issue is the redistribution of resources in South Africa.
Next fast in 2024, Zwile bathi imali ayikho, intwana ziyakhala. Same cry you guys were crying almost a decade ago. Because fees must fall is almost a decade ago now, ne? Just as how quickly time flies. Intwana zethu nano zikhala same thing. Into benikalela nani.
Yes, and there's a voice note of Plain Zimande. He stole 40 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Allegedly.
He stole. I'm saying it. You are saying allegedly. When in your podcast you are saying allegedly. I'm saying Plain Zimande stole 40 million. If he's refusing that, he must take me to court. He's a thief. We have no respect for thieves. Plain Zimande is a thief, and Plain Zimande must fall. There, we make no apology. Because he's the one. We are in this problem because of Nzimande and them. We are in this problem. And upon Nzimande, they know that there is money. But because their companies, their concubines, their wives are eating through these arrangements, their concubines are the ones who are running accommodation. Why would an accommodation residence of students is much more expensive than the tuition fee? You hike because NSFAS will pay. You a small room with a single bed, it's 8,500. When you make a follow-up, owner of that building, which has a contract with the university, is a concubine of Nzimande. So they don't want this free education because they are benefiting. They have cafeterias. You know when Nzimande is looting the most, is looting in the TVET's colleges because the systems there are not that locked. They are looting there. If I'm wrong, they must take me to court. I am saying it here. Nzimande and their concubines, these slave queens that they go around with, and the slave kings that they go around with, they are benefiting through accommodation, through cafeterias. You see a plate of food, a guinya, you find a guinya of 20 rand in their cafeterias. But we know, Abo Mama, they sell guinyas at 5 rand, 10 rand. These ones, a food price, a plate, you find a plate of 80 rand in these cafeterias.
For students?
For students. I'm telling you, Sbu, go to WITS, go to UJ, a cold drink, a 2 liter of cold drink is much more expensive than in the garage. Because it's NSFAS money. And these people who got tenders from these universities, it's either their friends, their relatives, or are these slave queens that they go around doing all manner of things with them. If I'm wrong, it's not you, it's not your podcast, it's me, Bonginkosi Khanyile oshoyo. Ngiyayikhulumela nje, futhi angijiki lento engisho.
Elections are around the corner. MK wins the elections. How do you solve the problem of free education?
We introduced free education tax. We fund higher education. Or we take money. There's money, man. We'll just have to sit down as the cabinet, as the new government, and say, do we introduce a new free education tax? Or let's leave our people, not tax them. Let's take from that company and fund education. There's money in South Africa. Trust me. It's not even an issue. It's a matter of sitting down in one meeting and say, okay, from where do we take and fund this higher education? Then we rock and roll. It's not a scientific issue. It doesn't need Albert Einstein, me and you, even you. Once you go to the government, you'll be shocked how much rich South Africa is. But the question is the redistribution of resources. It's in cars, in the ministers, even in the cabinet. Our cabinet is very bloated. You will find a deputy minister of what? Of small businesses. Do you still have that portfolio, leaders? Do you still have it? Small businesses. What is that thing? A minister of small businesses, then the deputy minister. Why do you need deputy ministers? Because they have allowances, they are paid fat salaries, they have convoys, they have bodyguards. Why do you need them? What is the role of a deputy minister of higher education? Take that money, fund education. Why would you have two houses in Pretoria and in Cape Town? Why? Do you know that Cyril has a state house? Paid. He doesn't stay in his state house. He has never went. Many South Africans don't know that Cyril Ramaphosa has never went into a state house. Fully funded by government. He stays in his private homestead. Here in Bani. Is it in Houghton? Hyde Park. Hyde Park next to Malema's house. In the same road. He stays in Hyde Park. He has never went to a state house that has security personnel, that has funded by the state. Why do you give a president with a fat salary, he has a state house that he does not even stay at? It's not that alone. Go to KZN, the premier state house in KZN, next to that college. Is it Maritzburg College or what? There. The premier does not stay there. We wanted at some time when we were still young in universities, we said that premier's house must be turned into a resident of students because it's a big village. Never stayed. The current premier of KwaZulu Natal doesn't stay there. It's fully furnished. It has police or officials. It's guarded. It has everything operating. Nobody stays there. They stays in their private residences. Take that house and make it a resident of students. If we are a public official or a politician, buy your own house. You can afford, my man. We don't need to buy you a house. Why would you buy Cyril? Why would you give Cyril a shelter? Shelter, even food. Do you know these people, they get paid? They get paid by the state, but every month their grocery, they write down a list. What do they want? Then the state buys them groceries. So you have a salary that you don't touch. Why? That money can fund education. President, Cyril, buy your own food. Chief, maintain your traveling. All of us, when we go to work, we pay our own transportation. When I'm a cashier, I pay my own transportation. When I'm a security guard, I pay my own transportation. When I'm a domestic worker, I pay my own transportation. Now, a person that gets a fat salary, he claims transportation is government, food is government, even a house that he does not even need, it's government. That's where the money is. So we need to change leadership style and leadership posture. Leading must not about your social upward mobility or the ability to amass resources. It must be about the people. These guys are highly paid. Leave the corruption that they do. Because immediately when a person goes into power, now he sits in secret meetings with business people. He has secret deals that he do, and is looting behind. We know there's that man of looting behind, outside of the salaries that they get. Use that money you loot to pay your own things, but don't take from the state. You know, pala issue. Dollars found underneath. Take those dollars and pay your own transportation and food. So in South Africa, we have resources, but in the manner in which our leaders are using the money and how they lead, they have no love for people at all. At all. They have no love for people. And some of these people, it's people that we grew admiring. We are propagated. Cyril Ramaphosa wrote the best constitution. Cyril Ramaphosa is going to go into power. When he goes into power, he's a clean man. He's not going to loot because he's a business person, he's rich. Kanti Cyril is the biggest loot of them all. Cyril is sell about it. Uyantshontsha. Niyakhumbula 500 billion we-COVID.
Mopi.
500 billion ahamba ukoleta phesheya. Wakoleta for i-country. We-COVID.
Ama PPE.
Yeah, konke lokho.
Endaba bekhulunywa ngamabhillion amalingi during iCovid angisakhumbuli mapha amabhillion.
500 billion awukoleta phesheya.
Is that when they started calling our president Ramabhillion?
Kwakuthiwa uzonakekela ama-artist. The artist will get something. The poor, because the business is shut down. 500 billion. 500 billion. South Africans don't know what 500 billion is. Let me tell you, teachers, so that you can faint. I want to tell you. I want you to faint. What is a billion? I want to explain a billion. 1 billion is 999 million plus 1 million.
What? 900.
1 billion is 999 million plus 1 million. 1,000 million is 1 billion. Ramaphosa took 500 billion.
Shudekishini ndoda ngabona amabhillion
Uyabona
sidandruku ndoda amabhillion.
Uyabona mina sibuka ngikaze ngilibona imillion ngamehlo ngaquleka. Ngalala esibhedlela. Lama comrades antshontsha lokho okukhulu. Awantshontshe lokho thina sikujwayele. Ukuthi umuntu uyantshontsha.
Abananembeza.
Bantshontsha le mali lo kuvela ngathi sebeyagula manje emakhanda. Yabo ngisho ukuthi uyisela khona imali obonile ayintshontseki. Untshontsha kanjani 500 billion? Uphele it's gone. Usirelo usha wonke. Wathi eqeda 500 billion watholakala namadola endlini. Kanti labantu awudeli imali. Awubi right sesengitshontshe ku right ke manje. After 500 billion disappeared, we never saw what happened. Artists were poor. Business people collapsed. We don't know what happened with this 500 billion. Never accounted for. Nanka amadola. They are found under the mattress. So, lama comrades antshontsha ngendlela obona ukuthi no akukho right. And what worries the most, South Africans are silent. Angazi kwenzakalani. Where's the youth? Ba busy namahabli. Umuntu afuqa ihabli ungazi ukuthi le habli kanti yakusanganisana. Bhema ihabli, bhemani ngoba vele niyabhema abantu abasha nibheme, niqhubeke nibhema sithi nimiyeke nugwayi ngoba ngene iyeke. Niqhubeke nibhema insango ndako utshwala, but do the right thing because only the youth has the capacity to remove these elders. Only the youth. Only the youth has the capacity because majority of young people are not captured. I don't have businesses with these African leaders. I don't have businesses with Americans. So for me, it's easy to say a Cyril must fall. But for who? For Mbalula, he can't say that because he has his own shenanigans with them. Now, young people need to play a role in terms of ensuring that this country is being saved. Lama comrades ayantshontsha sibe silambile. Ibhillion lilodwa is 1,000 million. Awucabange singadla kanjani? Sibu sisikele 500,000 sisikele 500,000 ngithenga inkomo lapha emakhaya. Ngithenga imbuzi ngishaya isibaya sami lapha ngibe yibhunela iminyama lapha emakhaya.
MK umkhonto wesizwe party qala kanjani MK party? It's what, 3-4 months old? 3 months old now, ne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Registered. Ubaba then said he's voting MK. Then all young people say, boo, towards MK. MK has done something that we have never seen. I've been politically active for quite some time now. MK has done something that we have never seen before. You know, is the first political party whereby people say, Ningas abas busy siyayizela. Is the first political party that calls rallies and don't give people t-shirts. Is the first political party that calls rallies and don't transport people with buses. Is the first political party that does not give people KFC or Kentucky Fried Chicken. Do you still have Kentucky Fried Chicken? We don't. People are calling Zuma, come this side. We are here. Zuma, they are organizing themselves. It's an organic revolution. It comes from the ground up. First time in history since the dawn of democracy. Even Mandela never had. You know how the campaign of Mandela, when you look back to history, it was very difficult campaign. I think it only got 62%. Many people don't know that Mandela never got 2/3 majority. He got 62%. Then he had to form a government of national unity with your national party, with a de Klerk, a Medara as his deputy president. But in MK, people are saying, Zuma, where are you? Come to us. We want you. We want your leadership. First time in history. It has never happened before.
And how is the youth structure formed and what does MK stand for?
The youth, so we are the youth of MK. Relatively autonomous, which means we take our own decision. As the young people of MK, we are leading the youth the best way we know how. But we take the mandate from the motherboard. Our policies and our being is derived from the motherboard. What do we believe in, DJ Sbu? We believe in the nationalization of mines, banks, and all South African economy. We believe that who's Michael Dua. Is it Dua? I don't know. Michael Dua, but is from Germany. He's a German foreign national. We want, as the MK Youth League, we want him. If he set his foot in South Africa under the government of MK, he must be jailed. All his assets freezed. All his ill-gotten wealth must be freezed.
Who's Michael Dua?
He's a shareholder in the South African Reserve Bank. Sbu, Cyril pains me. How do you wake up, DJ Sbu? You are a president of the country. Your Reserve Bank, a foreign German family has shares.
Private family.
If umndeni nje waKhanyile ube nama shares ku Reserve Bank yase Germany. Do you think Germans can allow that? They can never be. But ulo Michael Duro banban unama shares kwi South African Reserve Bank, a family abangayazi ini South African Reserve Bank ibhange ngodla lase South Africa. Unama shares khona umndeni owodwa. uCyril kunomali yena ukuthi avela avuke nje ekseni kunomndeni wase Germany ona ufika kanye le ndoda lo amjita ufika kanye makuzo once.
I'm trying to Google it.
Mgugule lapha emafonini. Uyavela umgugule.
800 shareholders, including notable entities such as ABSA, the Anton Rupert Trust, Discovery, the Witwatersrand Bank.
Yeah.
The central bank also has international shareholders from Germany,
Yes,
France, and the United Kingdom, and the United States and Norway.
Amgugulele yena ngqo.
Ngimgugule ngqo.
Umgugule phone ugugule yena ngqo. Vela amafoni awaqamba manga.
What is his surname?
Udwa.
DWAR.
Awumspele kahle. Angifuna nokulazi kahle igama lakho uyangicasula nje le ndoda. Angeke wena ube nama shares sibungisho usukhala.
Yeah, Michael Dua. Yeah, he does. Okay, there's a fact check here. German national Michael Dua owns between 0.5% to not 57.5% of the South African Reserve Bank. The ruling African National Congress. The ruling African National Congress is in favor of nationalizing the bank, as is the opposition, the Economic Freedom Fighters Party. But the Democratic Alliance, the largest opposition party, will have none of this and have taken a hardline position, calling it a hostile takeover. Sorry, it's a long article.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that what you're saying looks like legama liyavela. But in March 2014, the bank asked Mr. Michael Dewar to dispose of his family shares, exceeding over 10,000 shares by March 2015. Or he could submit evidence to prove he was not related to any other shareholders. At this stage, the bank believed that in addition to his own shares, Dewar was an associate of 8 other shareholders: his parents, 2 brothers, wife, 2 daughters, and his son. The bank claimed that Michael Dewar and his family held at least 90,000 shares, or 4.5% of the bank's 2 million shares in 2014. This is quite an interesting article. I'm gonna put a link of this article in the description, guys. I just Googled it. I didn't even know about Mr. Michael Dewar. It's the first time I hear about him.
MK Youth League were very clear. We don't want this man. We don't want this man. So,
and foreign entities that tend to undermine or take advantage of our sovereignty, right?
Yes. You know, Sbu. It's better if we're discussing you. That Mofire owns has shares in the South African Reserve Bank. It's a conversation that we are willing to have a discussion on. It's a question of patriotism. It's a question of you being an African. It would have been better if we were discussing some Nigerian billionaire having shares in the South African Reserve Bank, not a German national. We don't know what happened with these elders who are leading our country. They have no sense of patriotism. We must discuss you. We must discuss Uminenhle Cebane having the shares in the South African Reserve Bank. Not a German national, not an American national, not a France national. Africa for Africans. From the economy, from the land, and in all facets of life. So we are clear, we don't want anything that smells white foreign families in terms of our economy. That man, we must seize his asset, freeze them, and we send him back home. I think that's the most lenient thing. He won't rot in jail, but all his ill-gotten wealth must come back to South Africans. Then we can see how do we redistribute those resources. But it must not be that after 30 years of democracy, we still rely on the colonialism in terms of the economy of the foreign countries. We say EPWP in South Africa, they must get permanent jobs. We say under the MK government as the MK Youth League, we are sick and tired of this thing of saying that people from 18 to 35 are the ones that qualify for internship. We as black people, sometimes you start to go to school at the age of 40. And you can still qualify for internships then, because you understand, for me, I start becoming a security, I save, from there I'm promoted, I'm now a manager of securities, then I register at the age of 36 or 40 years for my diploma. But I no longer qualify for internships because I'm beyond 36. We must remove that cap. Anyone who wants an internship must be able to qualify for a internship. Those are some of the things that we believe in as MK Youth League. There are many.
The issue of land?
It must be returned. The land must be. We don't want to chase white people away. But we say the land must be equally redistributed to everyone. Sbu, it pains me. It pains me every time I travel to Alexandra. Yesterday, a day before yesterday, we're in Alexandra. Have you seen how black people stay in Alexandra, DJ Sbu? I was talking to my Secretary General in the Youth League and saying, how can we better? What is the solution of Alexandra? I was saying, let's say we become government. How do we finish those informal settlement in Alexandra? The only solution we got is that you cannot finish those informal settlement without actually taking other residents and putting them in another land. You build them houses because the area is small but it's overcrowded. Because our people do not have land, the land is in the private hands. And the majority of people that have land in their hands is white people, is churches. People are scared of saying these things. Your Anglican, the Church of England, Anglican has land. The Romans have land. We need that land which is owned by churches. Because most of these churches benefited from the land through colonialism. They must bring back the land. Private owners, they must bring back the land. Those who are owning hectares and hectares of land, they must bring it back. Government must say, do we compensate them? The discussion should be say, do we compensate them or we don't? But the land must be given back. Then we allocate our people. You cannot have a situation of Alexandra living forever while we have a black government. What's wrong with us, Sbu? In South Africa, we are reduced into becoming domestic workers. In South Africa, we are reduced into becoming security guards. In South Africa, we are reduced into selling fried chips. In South Africa, we are reduced into selling a makip. In South Africa, we are reduced into becoming beggars. It's black people, it's not white people. Yet this land belongs to our forefathers. I'm telling you openly, without any fear of doubt, South Africa belongs to the black native people. White people came through the sea in 1652, where the problems of black people began. We don't wish them away. But we are saying in the land of our forefathers, in the land of Skukune, in the land of Shaka Zulu, in the land of Hoshimampur, we cannot live as beggars. Because when you go to England, you cannot find a white person working for a black person as a domestic worker. You cannot find a white person being a cashier while a black person is a multimillionaire. So what's wrong with us? Are we children of a lesser God? Why? Why are people not rising and saying, no, enough is enough? We want our companies to be listed in JSE. When you go to JSE, JSE looks like an American executive. It's like a London executive. White males are dominating our JSE. Where is DJ Sbu in JSE? Where is Ntuli in JSE? Where is Litlak in JSE? Why our JSE looks like you are in a foreign country yet is in Africa? Why do we accept that? What's wrong with us as black people? There's something teachers who I always say that, myself, I don't hate white people at all. I don't. In fact, I love them. Because white people are just being white. We as black people must begin to be black. Don't hate. A problem is not white people. White people are just being white. You know their history. Black people must begin to be black. What do I mean, DJ Spoon? I don't know what's wrong with black people. Sometimes you get angry with them and want to turn against them and say, maybe these people, they deserve this oppression, they deserve this subjudication, they deserve poverty, they deserve everything that comes to them. But Bigo teaches us that never get tired of black people, because majority of them, their minds have suffered colonialism. They hate themselves. They hate everything that represents them. Black people have heroes like Kolisi. I'm touching the nerve now. Touching the nerve. You can't be a black person and have a hero like Kolisi. I've said that. You can't be a black person and have a hero like Kolisi who does not represent anything that has to do with black person. There was a rabbi. What was the slogan? Greater together, bigger together. What the slogan of rabbi? Greater together.
You mean during the World Cup?
World Cup.
Yeah.
What was slogan? Greater together.
What slogan is that? Yeah.
But that thing, that togetherness. But something like together, like we are together. You can't have you can't have a hero if you are black like Siya Kolisi. Because Siya Kolisi represent everything that has to do with our black oppression. You know, there was something in America that Malcolm X taught us, that there are two types of Negroes. There is a field Negro.
Stronger together, right?
Yes.
That was the slogan, yeah.
Why tall? Ukugula awushaya icilile. Why tall? Stronger together. How are we stronger together, Sbu?
Don't lose your train of thought. You're still on Steve Biko, what he teaches us.
Malcolm X in America.
Oh, Malcolm X, okay.
Yes, again. How are we stronger together? Okay, angizela. Malcolm X teaches us there are two types of Negroes. A field Negro and a house Negro. A house Negro, he stays in the master's house. When the master has eaten food, he can sometimes enjoy the crumbs, the leftovers. When the master has went to town, a house Negro can enjoy the bed and sleep. When the master has went out, he can even fit the dress or the trousers or the pants of a master. Then there is a field Negro who works at the plantation. The sun rays from the morning until the afternoon, they finish from his body. He works in the plantation. Now he says the difference between these two Negroes is that when the house of a master is on fire, a house Negro prays and say, God, please help us. A field Negro says, can the house burn down? That is the difference. Siya Kolisi, let's locate him. Is Siya Kolisi a field Negro or a house Negro?
No, why is Siya Kolisi catching strays, man?
We're coming to him, Musa. Angithi ngiyeza.
Wenze, asenza proud kanje.
Proud of what? Proud of what? When he's taking our people and make them to be slaves of white people, to be slaves of white propaganda.
How though?
Siya Kolisi. There's rugby playing there. Greater together, greater together, greater together. You know when, after celebrating the victory of rugby, when the buses was moving around in the suburbs in Cape Town, it was black people and white people. Immediately when the bus went to Khayelitsha, all white people remained behind. Siya Kolisi went alone. It's there on Google. Ilapho Google. We Googlisha, it's there. Siya Kolisi went alone. In Durban, where I was, immediately bus seyemla kamashu, Siya Kolisi went alone. White people remained behind. But let's leave rugby. We are stronger together, ne?
Yeah.
Kugula lapho ku YouTube. Ungene YouTube. When Bafana played, we all welcomed rugby. Greater together, greater together. All of you with white people, you were hugging. When Bafana played, and when Bafana was coming back home, Bheka lapho Sbu, who welcomed Bafana? I never even saw one white face welcoming Bafana. Because white people are just being white. You black people, you must begin to be black. Bafana, you went and welcomed it alone. White people never went there. Because they can identify with rugby, but they don't identify with predominantly black sport.
Ungenaphi lapho Siya Kolisi because
Siya Kolisi is supposed to use his positionality where he's put as a rugby captain to highlight our plight as black people and tell people the truth. That's the only thing that will make us greater together. It's when the economy of South Africa is being leveled, when all of us, we can live like humans, and black people, we can have things that makes us human. What makes us human is the access to water, is access to proper shelter, is access to proper food, is access to proper transportation. We cannot live in Alexandra where we live with big rats, where we live like animals, while white people live in Sandton, have everything that makes them human, while we have everything that makes us inhuman. He must say that on a national TV, that sports can never unite us. Only the economy can unite us.
He's not an activist. He's not a politician. He's a sports star. He's a
but
sports
we
player.
have learned from history, DJ Sbu. We are not speaking these things from nowhere. Muhammad Ali, he is there as the greatest of them all. We salute him as black people because the great Ali stood for black people while he was a boxer. He used his positionality of influence to speak on the plight and on the subjugation of black people, because our unity, DJ Sbu, cannot be a cosmetic exercise. You cannot say stronger together while we go and watch a match of rugby. When you go home, you go to Sentin, and when I go home, I go to Soweto. You cannot say that. Speak the truth. It doesn't matter how bitter it is. Speak the truth. Don't go on a national TV overseas and lie on our behalf. Yet we must salute you. Don't go on a national TV and say the problems of black people is that they lack innovation. Don't go on a national TV and say the problems of black people is that they are not hardworking. Don't go on the national TV and say our country can be liberated by being entrepreneurs. It's a lie. It's a lie. And say entrepreneurship is going to make our country move forward. Because even on the entrepreneurship, the system is rigged. You cannot. I want to speak about a mother who stays in Kandla. This mother from 1992, he has been selling gwinyas estolo kamloto, in the shop called Kwamloto. Since 1992, has been consistently selling gwinyas. Wakes up at 3:30, make food for his family, make food for his wife, for his husband, and send his husband and make sure that his husband goes to work as a security guard since 1992. And he goes and sell until 4 o'clock, comes back, prepare for his husband, then he makes sure that again he wakes up and goes sell. From 1992 until today has been doing that. You say that mother, because has not been able to be rich, he's not working hard. You say that mother can think outside of the box. What can that mother do to change his plight? Why do you blame black people who are victims of the system that is rigged and blame the victims of the system? I'm speaking about a child that stays in Alexandra. How can I become innovative in Alexandra when I don't have electricity? When I survive on SASSA grant? When I do not have connection that Bonginkosi Khanyile can have? When I cannot go to VETS because I'm not amongst the top 5 in class? I'm relatively smart, I'm in the top 10, but I do not have funding. What innovation I can speak about? How can I think outside of the box? Which box are we speaking about when you know that the system in South Africa operates about who do you know? And all these children that today goes around and praise Kolisi that black people lack innovation, the country can be led by entrepreneurs. They know that the deals for you to make it as a person, your father and your friend of your father or your uncle, you must meet in the golf course. While you are playing golf, then you can seal deals. Because we can speak about the corruption of government, but the most corruption that happens in this country, corruption, nepotism, and favoritism, is in the private sector. The deals are there. If you are an ordinary person, it doesn't matter how good are your ideas are. If you don't have someone to open a door for you, you are good as nothing. I'm speaking about a mother who's selling fruit at the taxi rank. You say black people are lazy. This mother every 6 o'clock is there selling fruit consistently on the sun for the next 10 years. You say he's lazy. They are poor because they are lazy. I'm speaking about taxi drivers, DJ Sbu. A taxi driver, I'm privileged because we had them at home. 3:30, he's there. Takes a taxi. He goes, he drives. Until the last cash up they will do after 7 o'clock at night. From there, they leave a cash up of the day. They leave the keys at home. The taxi he has a full tank. Then you drive a driver to his house. He must then wake up at 3:30 next in the morning and take a taxi consistently. When a taxi driver leaves, when it's time for him to retire, when he's old, he leaves with only his last salary. There's no pension fund. There's nothing. But today, we can listen to Kolisi when he says black people are lazy. That is why they are like this.
I don't remember Kolisi saying that, but anyway.
Kolisi has never said that part. Kolisi is the face of these people. You know who. Let me enter to others, because Nina Sbu, you are scared of these leaders. We must challenge them. You know who says that? It's exactly like Kolisi. You will see Pela Kolisi. These guys who don't speak on behalf of black people, who blame black victims. they are all the same. Do you know who's that guy? Vusi Thembekwayo. I've said him. Vusi Thembekwayo is exactly a problem in the black nation. He's a problem. He's the one who says black people must think outside of the box. He's the one who says black people must work hard. Yet this country is built on the hard on the hard work of black people, on their blood and sweaties. There's no race in this country that works hard than a black race. There's no race. We are cashiers. We are security guard. A security guard clocks in from 6 to 6. 6 to 6. A security guard is there. Underpaid. When these people don't make it in life, you say they don't work hard. They must think outside of the box. The solution in this country is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the most rigged system that you can ever have. Without the interference of government, a decisive government on making sure that more black entrepreneurs, they succeed. You can think outside of the box the way you like, you'll never make it. But you'll have Vusi Thembekwayo say, no, entrepreneurship must be the one. Say someone who studied at WITS. Blaming a security guard who was smart in class, but because nobody identified him, he couldn't make it. There are many smart children in my hood, in Umlazi, in Kwamashu, in Enkandla, who are not in the position I am. You know what made me to be where I am, Sbu? To have this platform, me and you. It was privilege. At home, we grew up very poor. When my father came back from Gauteng, after working for white people for all his entire life, he came back with a wheelchair because he was sick, gravely ill, with a 500 rand on his pocket. You know what made me succeed? It was because I have smart privilege and intellectual privilege. Amongst my peers in class, it's them number 1, number 2, number 3. When you are like that, teachers, they love you. But there are many people who are smarter than me who will get number 10, number 15 in class. Much more talented than I am. But because academically I was always excelling, teachers were able to identify me. Hence, I was able to go to WITS and compete with the children who are billionaires. Children who are extremely rich. I was able to go to WITS. I was able to go to UKZN. I was able to go to a DUT and MUT because intellectually I was more privileged than other children. But had I not get number 1 and then number 2, I would have been in the same plight. It's either I was going to be a taxi conductor, a taxi driver, or a security guard, as many of my peers. Or even worse, I would have been in jail because I would have robbed people for survival. Only the privilege of my intellectual capacity brought me where I am, to be the next, to sit next to the children of whom are billionaires. I cannot then come and say, my brother who's a security guard, my friend who's a taxi driver, my friend who's in jail today, he's not hardworking. He's like this because he doesn't think outside of the box. While I know that the system is rigged. South Africa is anti-poor, South Africa is anti-black. So, I'm sure you can make parallels between Kolisi and Vusi Thembekwayo. If you are black and you stand for everything that blackness stands for, you cannot have a hero who's Kolisi or Vusi Thembekwayo. They represent everything. Those are house Negroes who are inside the house. When the fire is burning, when we as field Negroes were saying the fire must burn down, we want to collapse the house, they are saying no, they pray for a master. When the master is sick, they even ask with the master, are we sick? But you are not a white man. Let's burn this house down. Let's change this system so that all of us, we can benefit from this system. The problem in the country is not white people. It's black people who are refusing to be black. White people have no problem. They are just being white. You must begin to be black. Stand for your own right. What's wrong with us, DJ Sbu? Why are we refusing to be black in our country? Stronger together, stronger together. When Bafana comes back, there's no more stronger together. Because white people, they know themselves. They have no business with you. For 30 years, DJ Sbu, you've been trying to beg white people and hugging them. Myself, I will never go to a school, a private school of white people when they chase your child. Just don't call me in a white school when they mistreat her. White people there and said her inwele zakhe ziyabheda, or when they give her racism. I'm not going to go there and protest because you neglect your school in the township. You look down upon your schools in the township and you take them there. Immediately when they abuse your children, you want to go into it. Why do you like to follow white people for 30 years, but they've never moved an inch towards you? Nina, hey, Caitlin, you even speak like, hey, my friend is white. This is not a hate against white people. This is saying we are no longer willing to move as this generation. From Mandela, we've been trying to a rainbow nation. June 16 is coming, DJ Sbu. Again, go Google la phone. June 16 is coming, a day of reconciliation. In the stadium, in government programs, and in the programs of political parties, white people don't come for the day of reconciliation. You reconcile with yourself. You day a day of reconciliation, but is Numalo and Ramahoshi. White people are not there. You are reconciling. You are being addressed by your political leaders. Ramahosh. You are reconciling with yourselves. What's wrong with you? For you as a race to be taken serious, love yourself and love everything that has to do with yourself. You don't need to hate yourself. Just love yourself more and say, from here, I am not willing to move an inch. You spend your most time trying to speak in English like a white man. I went to WITS, they couldn't transform me. I went to UKZN, they couldn't transform me. I speak English like I'm doing. Because, mangizokhuluma isiZulu sithi hey DJ Sbu kuhamba kanjani mfethu grand. Immediately mase ngikhuluma isingisi how you DJ Sbu uyayigedi. Uyithatha blonto le. Uyithatha blonto le.
Indoctrination, self-hate.
The way you speak. There was another lecturer, John and Clark. They called me Bonginkosi. Then I said, which one? In class. That lecturer nearly killed me. Call my name right. But I'm saying I'm calling your name right, John. You are John. No, I'm John. No, you're not John. You are John, man. Call my name right. Don't call me like that. Not call my name right. Say Bonginkosi. Don't say Bonginkosi. Why should I make an effort to speak like you? Stand like you? Have you seen how Cyril stands? And how Cyril talks? Have you seen him? All these guys were basebenzile abafana. Inhliziyo yami cishe yama.
Awuyeki time, man.
Wow. Where's my iPad? I want my iPad. Did I lose it? Cyril, wait, man. I don't know what do white people do to these guys. I don't know. Instead of asking, where's my iPad? Hey, Chief, I want my iPad. Wow. So, comrades, excuse me.
So you're basically saying let's love ourselves. Let's know ourselves.
Let's know and love ourselves. The minute we begin
the way
to
we
reflect
are
and love everything that stands for ourselves, that's when other races will begin to respect us.
You wrote your exams you were in prison when you wrote your exams. And not only there, I think a year or a few years later, you were also arrested again during what I think the media deemed it as the July unrest in 2021. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so Fees Must Fall was happening.
Your activism ended you up in prison. You wrote your exams in prison.
Yeah. So Fees Must Fall was happening. When Fees Must Fall is happening, we are fighting for education must be free. We spoke about that. Then I got arrested because we're deemed as instigators. of the fees must fall, of which we were. Then got arrested from then, and when I got arrested, it was in September. So I had to write my final exams because I was doing my final year. Then I had to write in prison. Before I wrote in prison...
Let's bring my iPad.
Nesbu. Where is my iPad? I want my...
Inksha after.
Don't do that.
Can't understand. Sorry,
into noba wakho angakazayisho ubaba wakho methu ufuna induku yakhe noma umkhonto kini wakwayisho lento uphi umkhonto wami ngicela unduku yami ngoba uzothi wena ne iphi induku la bayifunda phi lento abanye ngeke ngibasho omuzi mayimani bonke same car same model bayafana ungababeka la ngathi bazalwa ubaba oyedwa noma umlungu oyedwa so angazi abelungu babenza njani. Angazi buka nje usiyaKholisi insizwa eqondile kodwa ukhulume nayo
anasuke kusiya umfowethu siya
ziyakhala we must umfo wakho I have no business. I want him to change. I'm attacking him because he must change. You know, when we attack them, it's not because we hate them, DJ Sbu. We want to bring them back to the collective of black people. He must listen to interview and take it as a constructive criticism. He's a black brother, I love him. But he must become black. We want him to come back home. Come back home. Remember, DJ Sbu, there are two types of criticism. There is a constructive criticism. When you criticize a person with an intention to build a person. Then there is a destructive criticism. When you construct an individual with an intention to destroy a person. I don't seek to destroy siyaKholisi. I don't seek to destroy Vusi Thembekwayo. But I want them to come back home. Come back to black people. Come back. Think black. Walk black. Be black. I will never fight.
Vusi ngiyakuncanywa boy. Mara yabona zakhalela.
Mhlawumbe uyayincengela no DJ Sbu. Mhlawumbe une deal no lokhu. I don't have a deal. I don't have a deal no lokhu njana. I no deal. Mhlawumbe banama secret deal nabo bhuti Sbu sebebadala. Bahlala ngale baphuza amatiye uyabona ukuthi hey ubizele luhlanya kulento yakho liyangishaya we DJ Sbu sengizokuvalela lapha. I don't have that responsibility. We are leading young people and we must say it as it is. We must say it as it is. Maybe when I'm old also, now I'm captured through those deals, then I can begin to tone down. But for now, I don't have deals.
I mean, ngithengisele emgwaqweni anginama deal mfethu. Thengisa emgwaqweni ngiyaziphandela ngizawuthini.
Yeah. So they must come back home. Come back home. Speak for the plight of black people. We must touch them. Because when we touch them, we have no vote. I will never speak about white people myself. Don't have business to speak for Groenewald. I don't want Groenewald in our spaces. He must speak for his white people. We speak for black people. Then we meet as races to build South Africa. But for us to do that, we must first deal with the mind of a black person.
I think the first thing to do is to go by that. I write what I like. I write what I like. Steve Biko.
There are many of them. I write what I like. Steve Biko. There's the one of APM Da, Africa's Cause Must Triumph. There's the one of Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, Lie on Your Wounds.
Yeah.
There's the one of Anton Muzwakhe Lembede, Freedom in Our Lifetime.
While you are at it, you must also just pick up yaga ukhokho kithi access na umkhulu ukhokho credo mutha.
Yeah.
Indaba My Children.
So they will bring back to your clan. These black people who are touching, we want them home. DJ Sbu, they must not take it with hatred. They must say, they must think on what we are saying.
All right, let's come back. So we're talking. I was talking about ukuthi ubupale ama exam wakho sejele because of your activism when you were young, and then I was saying, in 2021 you were arrested again for the July unrest.
Yes. So I wrote my exams in jail. Please clap hands for me, guys. Clap hands for me because I passed with cum laude.
Cum laude jail.
Yeah, jail.
Sure.
They were insulting me, saying Khanyile is a hooligan. Khanyile is a criminal. Khanyile is destructive. Why is he fighting police? Because they were slingshot. Thanks. If it's not my HG, who can it be? Thanks. So they were fighting me, DJ Sbu. Literally, I received cyberbullying. I think it was the first time ever I understood, but that made me strong because I was young. You know, you get shocked when you are being cyberbullied by black people, not white people, black people, that you are fighting for. That time I had a sponsor, a serious sponsor, sponsoring my tuition fee, my residence, my transportation, even giving me allowance. But every time when you come to school, there's a queue of black students who cannot access higher education. Khona ugogo wakwafika DJ Sibuwa khali inyembezi ehamba nengane intombazane eza kuma offices ethu SRC as leadership. Wathi ingane zami ngisuka angaze Thabazimbi but indlipopo ngisuka khona. Lengane ngize la ithathiwe la esikoleni. Anginamali. Imali enginayo u300 lengane iphethe impahla ngobhakha DJ Sibu. Ugogo uhleli phansi uhamba ngenduku usuka le Limpopo uno 300 yazi lo gogo ngamumonza ka understand uzomtshela kanjani ukuthi iRes u65000 uzomtshela kanjani itransport u13000 uzomtshela kanjani ama meals uzomtshela kanjani ituition fee wakhala inyembezi wathi ngicela nithathe ingane yakhe uyishiya nathi abafana eyentombazana ayina accommodation ayinalutho sathi gogo thatha u300 ugibela ekhaya ngoba kana ngisho imali yokugibela sobona ingane siyenza. Those were things that even triggered that struggle. Would know even when you have, because you know what you are this child, you are exactly this child, you can see yourself from this child. The only difference is that when you have a sponsor, she doesn't. Then we block our campuses, we start our struggle, we get arrested. The very same black people insult us. You are violent, you are this and that, you are this and that. Cyberbullied. Then we became strong. I got arrested, wrote my exams in prison. Then I was released in constitutional court by Mogoeng and other judges. Set free, got a bail of 250. Mogoeng couldn't understand why I was still kept in jail. One of his assertions was that you say this guy is a danger, but the complainant are police officers. You can say this person is a danger to the state, an armed state. What do you mean? Then I was released from there. Then fast forward July 2021. President Jacob Zuma was arrested without proper processes, sent to jail. That's where we were involved in terms of ensuring that we campaign for his release. And upon campaigning that, we then sent into prison. But this time I think I stayed 2 months. It was not that long. Then I was out on bail. I'm still attending that case. On the 24th, we're going for trial.
I got paid,
we're going for a trial. A big trial. Gloves are off, it's fist to fist. Backlines have been thrown. It's either you get eaten, you eat or get eaten. All bridges are burned there. It's us versus the state on that case of Jacob Zuma, because we still sustain our assertion that for anyone, whether it's Zuma, because you know what, DJ Sbu, my brother, if we can allow it to happen to Zuma, because we hate Zuma so much, some of us, some of them, they hate Zuma so much. You arrest a person without proper criminal procedure act. If they do what they do to him, it becomes a precedent. The next person that they will hate, it will be Bonginkosi. They will do exactly to him. They say President Zuma never went to a commission of Zondo. They then sit and come with a sentence and took him straight from home to jail with a sentence. No mas busi, even if we can see you killing a person here in the studios, you still have to go and appear before the court. The first question they say, do you want a lawyer? You say yes. If you can't afford a private lawyer, you get a state lawyer. The second question they say, do you apply for a bail? First and foremost, before the trial, you say I apply for a bail, or you don't apply for a bail, or you are out on bail. Then they ask you to plead guilt or not guilt. While we've seen you, all of you, we've seen you killing a person, all of us. Then you say, no, I plead not guilt. Then you go on trial, where you must prove your innocence and the state must prove that you are guilty, depending on which section are you charged on. No, this one doesn't go all those stages, because it's Zuma. They fetch him from home. We are already serving 15 months from home without being asked, are you guilty or not guilty? So we said we couldn't allow that to happen. We ought to campaign. Whether he's guilty or not guilty, but the proper Criminal Procedure Act must be followed. Because if you can allow it to be bastardized, because it's him, they are coming for us. When they are done with all of them, they will come for me and you on the ground. Let's stop it from where it is. Then we campaigned for his release. Unfortunately, we became targets and we were arrested. Now I'm out on bail. I'm still serving my bail. I'm going on trial on the 24th of June. I think it's a 2 weeks trial. Stand down 2 weeks.
And the party is still new. How did you become the Youth League president?
I'm the volunteer in chief. Volunteer in chief. It's a guerrilla. It's a militant. It's a radical and militant youth. We prefer to call ourselves as volunteer in chief or chief in command of young people. So there, I'm an interim leader. We're still going to go to conferences. These are interim structures to galvanize young people behind the banner of MK, but also to champion the issues of young people, which are immediate, while also preparing for conferences which will come after elections, where proper structures will be elected. So I became, the leadership sat down and said, we think that you are better positioned as a young person with all the expertise, the experience, the courage, and your ideological standing for you to galvanize young people towards the vision of the coming revolution. Why in the revolution is more.
And whose face will be on the ballot? Because apparently they're saying
Jacob
that
Zuma.
the IEC,
Jacob Zuma.
the IEC
Jacob
will not allow him to.
Jacob Zuma. There we don't engage. I'm with my SG here. We are not open for any discussion. We don't listen to IEC, DJ Sbu. We don't listen to IEC. We don't listen to anybody. A person that is going to be on the ballot, there are two things. It's a logo of MK and that face of Jacob Zuma. Nobody else. Don't want anyone. DJ Sbu, these rights, these freedoms are enshrined in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, which is a Bill of Rights, which are fundamental rights: freedom of choice, freedom of association, freedom to choose, a right to vote. So we are not going to allow IEC to choose who must be the face of our party. We're not going to allow IEC. DJ Sbu, remember, Mama Winnie died for this freedom. Mama Winnie became a revolutionary when he was young, tortured, abused, jailed, beaten up, and she became a guerrilla until the last days. Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu was hanged at a young age. Hanged by apartheid forces, fighting for freedom. Many leaders, Robert Sobukwe, poisoned in jail, put under house arrest. Steve Biko, beaten up till death for freedom. Now when we have freedom, because Cyril and Fikile Mbalula are realizing that they are losing elections, they now use IEC to say, no, you must disqualify this one, because they are scared. You know, I can tell you, DJ Sbu, on the voting, people will, these elections are about ANC and MK. Cyril, ANC. President Zuma, MK. There's no one else. All of them, they know. And with the face of Zuma and Cyril, I know. So now they are using IEC to tamper with our democratic right to disqualify Zuma, because they have no legal argument that can stop President Zuma from being on the ballot. They have no legal argument whatsoever.
They're saying they do.
What is it?
Because they're saying by law, he needs to have at least 5 years needs to have passed after his after he had been out of prison, right?
No, hayi brazo, akhambi kanjalo.
Basho njalo.
Hayi brazo, akhambi kanjalo. Akiri, the process of a ballot is a different one with the one of being sworn in. Zakhala. These are two processes, DJ Sbu. But one.
Make me understand.
The ballot, to contest, anyone can be on the ballot. But for you to be sworn in, to become a parliamentarian, remember, for you to be a president of the country, you first and foremost need to be an MP. You are sworn in. DJ Sbu solemnly declare that I are banned by the South African Constitution. That thing that they do after elections, depending on how many seats.
Yeah.
So for you to be sworn in, there's a vetting that they need to undergo.
Yeah.
But for you to be on the ballot, there's no vetting process. And for you to be on the ballot, it doesn't mean that automatically you want to be in parliament.
So does the law allow him to be on the ballot?
It does. But they are fighting it still. They are not even fighting him now. Remember, on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, SG, it's us against the ANC. The ANC is saying we must not be on the ballot. MK is theirs. Yet they disbanded MK in 94. And also disbanded MKMVA, I think in 2021.
I'm just reading an article here from the 19th of February 2024. The ANC insists, this is a Daily Maverick. The ANC insists MK party registration is unlawful. The ANC believes the process of registering Jacob Zuma's MK party, the registration of the party itself, they're also saying, okay, let me read it properly so that I don't misquote anyone. Bati, the ANC demands Zuma's MK party take the spear in unlawful registration spat before the electoral court. They say the ANC believes the process of registering Jacob Zuma's MK party, the party itself, was unlawful.
Yes.
It has taken on the IEC of South Africa Chief Electoral Officer Simon Mabolo, as well as former President Jacob Zuma's MK party. Yimuphi lo mthetho lo bathi excuse me.
Mabura. Brazo. Labantu ba delusional. These comrades are delusional. Ngicela ukuphuza la awugiphi la.
Vula na uyivula izokuthandazela sho izothi
unginike energy. Yazi mase ngikhuluma ngombalula ngathi ngathola energy. Ithini ithi Thixo.
Yeah.
Ngicela ngipha ama shares la DJ Sbu.
I know.
Ngicela ngipha ama shares. Awukwazi ukuncisha ku TV.
But I saw that I saw there's an energy drink at MK party, right?
Mina ngifuna lawa ala. Ukuya ngididisa. Nange ngicisha DJ Sbu ama shares.
Ngifuna ngoba sekhamera. South Africa's ruling ANC suspends former president for backing a... Oh, no, this is something else.
Okay, let me take you through.
Please explain it to me.
Yes. We are currently having a case, two cases. On the 19th, we are going to Bloom, where they are challenging the registration. A person who signed those papers is Fikile Mbalula and Nomvula Mkonyan on behalf of the ANC. They are taking IEC to court and us also as an interested party. They are saying our registration was flawed. Ne? Remember, our registration is long ago. But after Zuma said, I'm voting, because the organization was registered by some leader, our commander, who was relatively unknown. Because we knew that if Zuma goes and register it, it's going to make news. And they will come and fight the registration. Then they never contested that thing. They kept quiet. Because they thought that, MK, this is another small part. MK. Then Zuma came on the 16th. Then they are realizing that this thing is this big. They run to court and say now they want to contest the registration. But IEC gazetted us. We followed all processes. They are not even taking MK to court. They are taking IEC. We're just an interested part in Bloemfontein on the 19th. Oh, yeah, so our papers there, the IEC is supporting us. We are supporting IEC. That, guys, you are being unfair. You are using the constitution to fight your political battles. Because you can smell defeat. They are also contesting the trademark, which is now is a case on the 27th of March. The 19th, we're contesting the registration. On the 27th of March, we are contesting the trademark in Durban now, High Court. They are saying this is their trademark. But let me take you in 1 minute a brief history. The formation of MK has nothing to do with the African National Congress. Because you are a reader, DJs, where I know. You'll go and read about the formation of MK. When President Nelson Mandela went and presented the formation of MK in the Congress movement, that we are tired of sending letters to white people. We want to confront the apartheid regime militantly because they are killing our people. Abolutuli and them who were elders and the NEC of the ANC, they said no. Mandela, no. You can go and form these things and take anyone to go and form this militant organization, but don't put our name there as the ANC. Don't. In 1961, when Mandela did a presentation of elders, they said this radical MK that wants to confront white people head on were not part of it. Mandela steamed ahead. They went and registered. They went and did a military training and formed Umkhonto weSizwe. Later on, for it to be absolved as one of their alliance partners. In 1994, it's there. We Google Mabura, DJ Mabura. 93, I think, to be specific, Mandela called a rally, which was less attended on history. Called the rally to formally disband MK. I don't know whether people know that. Formally said, now we are disbanding. Krizani was crying tears, saying, as a chief of staff of Umkhonto weSizwe, I've lived with this comrade. They died on the trenches, ready to come and confront the apartheid regime head on. Why are we disbanding it without consulting the leadership of MK?
I think there's a video like that, ne?
Yes.
When he was still alive, Chrisan.
Disbanded it. After disbanding it, they formed MK Association, MK Militant Veterans League, as an association to take care of the needs of MK, former MK soldiers. Just make sure that they have houses, they have food, and so on and so forth. Also, Cyril never stopped there. He disbanded that association immediately after removing Zuma. Now President Zuma comes out from a political dustbin, something which is broken, neglected, abandoned. He takes this thing, he renovates it, he polishes it, he puts back on the center stage of the South African politics. Now they are crying tears. They are crying like ambulance. It's ours. But why would be something yours while you disbanded and neglected it? In law, there's something which is called the abandonment of rights. They abandoned this thing. Then we took it. Now, because this thing is shining, they want to reclaim it. So MK is ours. MK belongs to Zuma. MK belongs to black people of this country who want change. We're going to defeat them. On the 19th, we'll defeat them. On the 5th, we'll defeat them. In fact, Mbalula, because he signed the papers, he has assisted us because it's a campaign. We'll call a rally on that day. They are assisting us. We'll call a rally so that we can educate the masses. Everything that I'm saying here. What is MK? What does it stand for? And why ANC has no claim of MK? Only black people of this country who are downtrodden, marginalized, those who live from hand to mouth, who do not know when is their next meal, can claim MK. Not Cyril Ramaphosa, who has abandoned MK soldiers.
So, if they do win, you'd have the MK logo instead of Ubaba's face.
No, they're contesting. They're not contesting Ubaba. They are contesting MK. They are contesting the registration of MK. They are contesting the trademark.
Both.
Logo.
Yeah.
They are not contesting
himself as an individual. Okay, I understand.
They've succumbed.
I understand.
They've succumbed. So they want to remove the logo. But let me say...
So they're no longer... Were they contesting him as an individual at first?
No, they never tried.
Oh,
they did a public spat on him. They said he cannot contest. Then we marched as the youth league of MK to their headquarters. We went there militantly. I think 2 weeks back, they said, no, guys, people who wrote an article was not us. They even wrote us a letter to say, no, he qualifies, there's no problem with him. Because we're telling them that a right to vote, many people died for a right to vote. For one man, one vote, DJ Zuma. And we told them in their faces that for this democracy, we're prepared to die. Disqualify Zuma and you'll see what is going to happen. Let's see where are you going to put these elections. You cannot put undemocratic elections, then we will fold our arms. You cannot. And we say that because we have numbers on our side. And for this democratic right to have Jacob Zuma as our face and to have MK on the ballot is our democratic right. Don't use power and IEC because you are scared of losing power and use IEC. For this right, we are prepared to literally die. Try us, you'll see. You'll see how are you going to run those elections. We have numbers on our side.
Elections are expensive.
They're very expensive.
People are asking, where are you guys getting money? Who's funding you?
The people. I told you initially that in MK, in MK you are called by people. As the youth leader of MK, my schedule is very tight. On Wednesday, we are celebrating our victory in Pietermaritzburg. We won SRCs there, 100%. On the same day, I have a community meeting of the youth league there by the rural areas. On Sunday, I'm at Ongoy. During the day, addressing. In the afternoon at 5 o'clock, I'm in the Zululand, addressing a community meeting in the grounds of MK. On Saturday, I'm in Lower South Coast addressing a rally of MK Youth League. In the same afternoon on Saturday, I'm in eThekwini addressing the young people also in the sport ground. On Sunday, I'm in Limpopo addressing 2 community meetings of the youth leaguers in Limpopo, in what you call Malamulele.
Malamulele, yeah.
Malamulele.
Limpopo, Malamulele.
Limpopo, Malamulele.
Yeah.
I'm there addressing 2 community meetings of MK Youth League. So we're everywhere. We're like a Holy Spirit. So if you try and say you want to disqualify President Zuma and you want to disqualify MK, we are going to militantly defend ourselves. Try it. Want to see who's going to vote. We started sending where you say, hey, I want to vote DA.
How do you think the results look like?
President MK number 1, number 2, number 2 ANC. It's a fact.
Number 2.
You can't believe it.
Usho UKZN.
No, in South Africa.
National.
National.
Unginika ama results national. So ANC is going to be the official opposition
for the
party.
first time in history, many have tried to remove ANC and all of them have fallen. Only Zuma.
So it won't be DA, it won't be DA, it won't be Action SA, it won't be PA, it won't be EFF.
Wait a bit. Some of those parties, they are non-existent. Dynamics have changed, DJ Sbu. When was the last time you went outside and spoke to the ordinary people? You are even counting non-existing organization, imaginary organization. You just sit in you open you register a party, then you wear a t-shirt and say, hey, I have an organization. Then you do interviews. Tina DJs who are not doing interviews, we're on the ground. We are changing the face of politics. Changing them. Even myself as the youth leader of MK, you can see I'm not a social media butterfly. Don't wake up there. I'm putting my face. Those leaders.
Angikuboni ku social media by the way.
No, I'm not a social media butterfly.
Why ungekho ku social media? Because that's why you need to communicate with your people.
And part of the problems we have, DJ Sbu, is these leaders who are political celebrities. You can't differentiate between a politician and a celebrity. That's a problem, DJ Sbu. We need to restore the dignity of leadership. We need to build a new leadership where leadership can be taken serious. We don't understand whether you're a celebrity. Every Monday, you put yourself on TV. You put yourself on face. Hey, I'm addressing media. No, DJ Sbu. DJ Sbu, my brother, we need to bring back the dignity of politicians as leaders, not as social media fanatics. Every day you are on a podcast saying nothing. Every day you are on a TV saying nothing. You don't miss an interview when you even ask. There are politicians here that I'm not going to mention by name who pay journalists to get coverage. You give a journalist 20,000 just for a 3-minute clip on the news. No ways. You can't be. There must be a difference between Black Coffee and Bonginkosi Khanyile. There must be a difference between Kabza the Small and Jacob Zuma. How many times have you seen Jacob Zuma putting his face on TV? How are you guys? I'm waking up now. I'm leading. I can't do that. I'm putting my face on the TV. There ought to be a difference between when I'm live. There must be a specific reason why I'm live, not because I just want to be seen. Part of the problems we have in this country, which makes leadership not to be taken serious, is these politicians who want to pretend political celebrities. I've never seen the president of China every Monday he's putting his face on TV. I've never seen John Chen Kim, is it John Chen SG of North Korea? Every time he's putting his face on TV.
Kim Jong-un, ne?
I've never seen Putin. Every time he's there speaking a long speech. These politicians, you wake up, you wake up, this one, you wake up, they are twelves. They're always an ex-teachery. There's no comment, there's no news that passes you as a leader. You want to comment in every matter. You cannot do that. We must know when the president of the country speaks, there's something important that he's saying. Not to speak a lot of an hour, you are speaking English with no content.
So MK is here and MK is here to stay.
He is here and is here to stay. We are the future. The second layer of leadership of MK is commanded by him. I can tell you. The young people I'm breeding there. I'm breeding next second layer of leadership, which is very clear. Not social media fanatics, not political celebrities. I'm breeding guerrillas.
Yeah.
Revolutionaries.
You're also forming branches nationwide?
Yes, we are.
And some structures down there?
Structures everywhere. For now is interim structures. We have all of them across the country already. There's a coming revolution which is to be led by MK Click. Very soon we're not going to pronounce because we don't want media there. Don't want media. A revolution will never be televised. Don't want interviews. 5,000 to 10,000 young people to 20,000 young people are going to assemble very soon. We're not going to tell you a date. We don't want you there. Don't come there. We don't want your coverage. Every time I say, what is next now? Don't want media. A revolution will never be televised. We are leading, we're commanding a revolution. Not this thing that with your 200 people, you're already speaking. Yes, I'm here as a leader. We stand for this. Youth unemployment. We're leading a revolution. We are occupying where we'll be occupying. We're putting our demands. We are leading a revolution. Because we know that a revolution shall never be televised. A revolution is not led by people who are failed actors, who are failed musicians. Now they come and want to use politics so that they can become celebrities. When you're a musician, be a musician. When you want to be turned into a politician, now enter politics and be dignified and be a leader, not to become a political celebrity. Because we're all in these problems. You can't differentiate between DJ Maporis and these political celebrities. We don't want that. We don't say don't chill with them, but don't put your face. There must be a difference between Maporisa and you. There must be a difference between Omi and me. Omi is an emerging a young person in the podcast. He's doing very well. He must put his face every day on Monday. Not me. I wake up. Now, guys, I'm taking a bath as a leader of the youth. I'm taking a bath there. I'm with my girlfriend. Then you want to lead us. Watch it.
Bonginkosi. This is the first interview. I'm looking forward to the second one. I'm looking forward to unpacking more and learning more about you and seeing the growth of your party. You're 3 months old. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of work to be done on the ground. There's a lot of noise. There's also a lot of criticism also. Some people are also saying the dark cloud Yaga Baba is following him. As much as he's loved by a lot of people, you still have got a lot of people who are saying MK is a party of criminals.
Yes.
They're even saying such things. They're saying it's a party of criminals.
Yes.
Gulam, ne? Gulam, I think on Twitter, on X, yeah.
That thing is a paid agent. He's a paid agent. You'll never, you know our difference between us and them.
Gulam, I'd love to have you on the podcast. Let people see you. I'd love to see you too.
Is he a real person?
Gulam, I don't know.
I think he's speaking Mbalula. But the only person who's obsessed about MK is Mbalula. Yo, that guy. Every day. Hey, give me what the cat. Hey,
Gulam. Everything. Shona man.
Konda I posted. Uzongibona ngihleli nawe. Uzosho ukuthi that criminal was there. But you know our difference, my brother, with them. We are not products of media. Bro, Putwam, go and read about Bonginkosi Khanyile. all the articles that are written by me are negative. All of them. From Times Live, News 24, all of these established media, a fees must fall convict, expelled, ban. There's not even a single article that says Bonginkosi Khanyile passed with cum laude in prison. There was never an article that Bonginkosi passed an honors degree at UKZN. There was never an article that said Bonginkosi Khanyile is registered as a law student at WITS University. A legal mind. None whatsoever. It's all about Bonginkosi, there's a criminal, a what. It doesn't matter. Our revolution is on the ground. You cannot break something that you have not built. That is why we are not built by social media and media. Yes, currently we are entering a fourth industrial revolution, where social media and media can be used as a tool to mobilize the people. But don't rely on media to build an organization, because immediately when media turns against you, you are going to collapse. So we are relying on the ground. Ourselves are on the ground. They've said everything. You know, when you stay in London or in Cape Town, in there where Rupert stays, tell me, what is that? Stellenbosch. You will think that Zuma is hated. You know, people in Stellenbosch are shocked why MK has numbers. They are shocked because they thought they destroyed Zuma. Then he announced all rallies of MK are fully packed with ordinary people on the ground, because our people know their leaders. Even ourselves were taken from that tradition that we don't want to rely much on the media. We are relying on the ground. Now imagine Gulam. You think you can call up again, be collapsed by Gulam? Do you know the people that I just told you our schedule now? There in Malamulele, where people don't even play these things of social media, they're the ground. You'll see the coming revolution. Where will be Gulam be? So our focus is on the social, is on the ground than anything else. Our focus is to build a new crop of leadership with integrity and credibility. Our focus is to build that if you are a leader, don't use your position of leadership for your own social upward mobility. When you are a leader, you must know that the self-interest die at the interest of the collective. When you are a leader, you must know that being a leader is about sacrifice. Being a leader is about making sure that you come last. As an individual, everything that happens come last. If we have food here, as a leader, you must eat the last. You don't eat first. If you are a leader, you can't be a leader, you don't greet people, DJ Sbu. You can't be a leader. You go around, you think that you are happening, you can't even shake the hands of people. When you see an old lady, don't greet. You can't be a leader in your in your neighborhood. Nobody knows you. When you're a leader in your neighborhood, you must be able to visit people. Just speak about, DJ Sbu, the most neglected people are old people. Old people. To be loved by them is very easy, DJ Sbu. Mina ngihlezi ngibabamba abantu abadala. Sawubona gogo. Unjani? Ngiyaphila mntanami. Anjani amathambo namhlanje? Ugogo uzokhuluma 10 minutes akutshela ulale kanjani, amathambo abhlungu, ushukela uphezulu, because gogo they are neglected even by family members. Mawubona omunye futhi same story. How gogo makuphela inyanga zokulandela amaphilisi akho. Mina bazi bahlangana makunomsebenzi nje kuhlatshiwe bathi nangu lo mfana wakakhanyile lo njalo uthi uzosilandela amaphilisi akasilandeli. Ngithi ngibanjwe into zabantu abasha makuphela inyanga gogo. Thiwa usilandele ngani yami. Hence in my neighborhood I no, you can't contest me there. Because I know being a leader, you ought to listen to old people, to humble yourself, to respect people, to greet people. You come last in everything. Not to go to if you are a leader, the small opportunity that comes, you are putting your sister. The small opportunity that comes, you are putting your friend. The small opportunity that comes, you are taking for yourself. So being a leader is self-sacrifice. Being a leader is integrity. Being a leader is to ensure that in everything that is not an opportunity, but it's a huge responsibility. Being a leader is a calling.
Isn't this just the hype? Because the elections are around the corner. There was a video of you, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was doing the rounds. I think some people are saying there's already infighting within MK in the leadership. Which apparently some people are already saying Obaba is not fit enough to be a leader. Apparently you guys are fighting amongst yourselves.
There's no infight. None whatsoever. MK has never been this united. In 2 months, it's the only organization that has unit. That video, it was a youth league video. Not an MK. I'm a leader of the youth, not of MK. So there I was dealing with some elements of sellouts there. Remember, when you want to kill any organization, DJ Sbu, you must kill its second layer of leadership. If you want to make sure that there's no future of MK, make sure that the young people in the MK, they love money. The young people in the MK, they love opulence. The young people in the MK, they don't read, they are drunkards. The young people in the MK, they use their position of politics for them to secure their personal deals. So, in the youth, I have no time to tolerate sellout. If I find you in a hotel, sitting, making secret deals, using your position as a leader of MK, I deal with you very harsh. And it's very nice because I'm not going to be on the ballot. You are not going to vote for me, you're going to vote for Umsholus. So whatever I do in the youth league has no impact in the MK party, because there I must make sure when I deliver the youth league in the conference is a stable organization, which the conference of the youth league, no one will be throwing chairs at each other, but it's going to be a battle of ideas. Because remember, the youth league is an intellectual hub of MK. It's where ideas and knowledge is produced and reproduced. So if you kill the youth league, you make them drunkards and opportunists, then the MK has no future. Hence there, I'm leading it in a very deliberate and intentional way to produce a creme de la creme of this society.
Looking forward to our next second sit down. In wrapping it up, speak to South Africans, campaign, speak to young people, and wrap it up. It's been an incredible sit down. Okay. Extreme right, ne? Okay, Alean.
We are voting for President Zuma. We are voting for MK. MK is the future. We have arrived. There's no party. They are all shaking. We are voting for more jobs. We are voting for youth employment. We are voting against white monopoly capital. A vote for MK is a vote for defeat for white monopoly capital. We want to see ourselves in JSE. We want to have one. We're sick and tired of being reduced into selling fried chips. We want to run corporate companies. Young people must run mines. We want all taxi drivers to have jobs that are credible. They must be employed like all other employees with benefit. We are voting for the rights of everyone, especially the black people. We are sick and tired of being a skunk of the world as a black nation. We want to be equal like all other races and have a dignified life. And that can be only achieved through MK. Hasta la victoria sempre, a luta continua, freedom or death. Salute.
Bonginkosi Gift Education Khanyile.
Wow. Ungaka upandela umshini isikhafu kazi into engalali.
Ngiyabonga mfowethu.
Salute.
This has been beautiful. uNkulunkulu akubusise ngibonga isikhathi sakho bhuti wami.
Ngiyabonga bhuti.
I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Danko. Yo.